Hey, Tyler, turn off the camera. Dude, you know better. No, dude, you know better. Okay. Excuse me, I gotta get it. I forgot I gotta get out my.
I don't like going to the cafeteria in the morning.
Yes. Oh, I gotta stay out of there.
The border's closed in the morning.
Every time I've had to lay hands on a kid, so I'm in the cafeteria. I just stay out. It's real easy.
I think it was some yeah,
Good morning.
Anna.
When did we start this?
I said a question.
He wants to know when we started this.
Monday?
Yeah, it was like, I think Monday. Or Tuesday.
Ah.
It was Friday or Monday. I don't know. I'm out of it.
Right.
He does, man. Oh, man. That game looks nice.
The game that he plays all the time.
I like the circle one better. That friend tomato.
It doesn't work on the proxy server.
Wow. What kind of game is that for me? Apparently you're just hitting balls all day. What you on?
Okay.
No.
Tyler's got his work day. Now, you folks got to be out at 9, right?
Yes.
So,
I'll be honest, I don't even want to go anymore.
I don't even want to.
you should. It's gonna be fun. You're gonna like it.
It's just like a stupid trip to Louisville.
No, I know why he don't want to go. I'm not saying any names.
Thank you, Jeremiah, for understanding.
I don't want to go.
What? Oh no, it's not because of him. It's because she's going.
I don't want to go, and then I'm just gonna walk out.
Come on, worksheets up. Worksheets out. We're gonna get a little work done. I'll give you a little bit of video if you comply here.
Alright, see.
I see you kind of energy out of you. Again, we'll do a little video too.
Mine's out.
What video is it?
Mine's out.
If you sit down, he'll tell
I
you.
don't even have one.
Get your worksheets out.
So where should it from?
Okay, well, here we are. But John here is like the, right at the moment, he's looking kind of like that, the mold, shower mold or something like that.
I think he's tired. I can't blame him. I'm still tired.
John hasn't been feeling up to snuff lately, or the past couple of days.
Okay.
Hey, what?
Well, that's the thing we need to be working on. We need to be meaner. Okay, I do like that part.
Of course, because you borrow. Because you borrow, that's why you like that part.
Mr. Barrow?
Okay.
Yes, Mr.
What is
Barrow.
with you and borrow?
Worksheets out. Worksheets out. Stefan?
Yes.
Gaston?
Worksheet out there.
Buy some?
Now, how far did we get? Did we get anywhere?
Yeah.
We're still on the first page. We
Okay,
finished
so
half of it.
we did Joseph Stalin. Did we do Benito Stinkin' Mussolini?
No.
That's the second one?
Yeah.
The second one. We're on
Okay.
3.
Okay, let me see what you got there. Did I screwed up? I was giving the fascist.
His mind is on fourth period, y'all.
Okay, got it.
Still,
I got it in the right order then.
We're on Adolf Hitler. I hate that.
Adolf Hitler.
See Heil!
Okay. Well, I can't.
What?
Now, good old Adolf Stinkin' Hitler.
Hitler was mean.
How?
Oh, he went past
dare
me,
you
girl. You went
make
past
that
me.
gesture?
I mean, mean doesn't even.
He's an a-hole.
Past. Sorry, you just don't have the vocabulary does not exist in the English language to describe it. Okay. I don't think it exists in the German language either. But.
Barlow, that's supposed to help you calm you down? Because it's not working.
No, it's not.
No.
That's just
So
your
just
problem.
stop.
That's
So
your problem.
just stop.
I'm not-
Thank you.
Okay. Political movement and belief. Nazism.
Christ.
Nazi. Okay. So,
That's your
a form of fascism.
No.
What?
Still on the first one.
Somebody took my worksheet.
Okay, I'm blowing that. I'm blowing the spelling.
Oh my gosh.
You lost your
Thank you.
I'm still not still getting the spelling wrong. Hold up for a minute, just a minute. I'm drawing a blank when that happens.
Thank you, Eli.
One.
That was not good.
Can you put your phone on vibrate, please?
Let's
Okay.
see.
Really not that hard.
Nazi.
Sorry.
Ooh.
No, you don't have to be as good as me.
Okay, so he's a Nazi.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Good. Basically, private property.
Feisty in the air.
Okay. Well, let's do this. Ultra nationalist. Okay, I'm just gonna keep you busy here.
What the? Oh my god. Can't do this anymore with you.
I'm waiting. That's why you have to wait till he's done. For yeah.
Do you know how small these boxes are?
You know how small you are, right?
Okay.
You know what, Anna?
What did you say?
No phone.
Brandon?
He said, you know how small the boxes are? I said, you know how small you gotta write?
Why are you talking?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Cause it's a free country.
Not in my room.
Oh,
Yes.
what is it? Slavery now?
Oh,
I prefer to think of it as indentured servitude.
Well, that's what you think.
We
Everyone
think a
got their
different way.
rights.
Everyone
Sir.
has their own opinion to everything.
Oh, you can have your own.
Shut up. Your opinion's such a little
You can have your own opinions as long as your
I
view
don't
is mine.
care.
No, you can have your own opinions. You can't always mouth.
I'm gonna know your opinion
Okay.
all week.
Aggressive actions taken in the 1920s and 30s. Get ready for the hard one. Boom, 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 boom.
I don't think money is.
I better watch that.
Okay. Aggressive actions taken.
Are you?
is this for the second box?
Yeah,
Yes.
this is the second box.
Oh,
Okay. Remilitarization of the Rhineland. Okay. Annexation of Austria.
John, you gotta write this,
Where's the
bro.
second box?
Where's your phone so I can take a picture at least then?
You don't have
Oh, you don't. You named John in it?
Was he gonna answer? No, he was not. Alright.
We got two Johns in here now.
Okay, the invasion and partition of Poland. What means partition means, think of the word part or parts. Okay, basically you get a part, I get a part, you guys over there get a part, or something like that. In this case, Hitler divided Poland between Germany and Russia. So Russia gets half, Germany gets half. We be good. This is Poland in the 1700s. Was divided up among several powers 3 times until there was no more Poland left. They call it the first, second, and third partition of Poland. This is sometimes referred to as the fourth partition of Poland. Okay, John, you can stuff up. I'm going to do the crappy stuff. Yeah. Barlow. Hey. No. Somebody said he was not on the bus today. Yeah, I just think an IEP today too. So.
Oh dear.
Okay. Well, hey, why?
I need a car wash.
You got some money
You're
on
such
it?
a turd.
Oh my.
You too. Bye.
What?
Oh, Freak Tag left a bunch of garbage out in Wallace's room. Wallace wants him to pick it up. God, that guy's getting bad.
That sounds like Wallace.
Take a picture and I'll write up later.
No, I'm kind of feeling of something worse right now. So when you run into that kind of stuff, it's time that they cleaned up after everybody else.
really kidding. You didn't even hear what I said.
Huh? Take a picture of it and what? I still gotta sign that
It's
paper.
called getting it done, writing it down later.
John, you're not gonna get it done later
Yes,
because
I
you're
will.
gonna forget.
He's not gonna rewrite it, dude.
John, at least take a picture of it.
I don't have my phone.
He's not gonna leave it on that board.
You know, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm just gonna get
What you?
the iPad. I'm gonna take that picture. So I do not know why John is upset as he is, but at some point I'll leave it. Okay. My usual. Yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir.
Hopefully I get there today.
Miss Davidson, it is time for coffee. Did you want some also?
You know, a latte sounds super awesome. Are they in the
I'm still
candy
working on
on
a
top?
card for you.
Okay, yeah.
I'm still working on a birthday card.
You know, you have to
I got it. I got this one. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Real big with
All right,
Okay,
Bring this.
so let's do mine.
Where were you yesterday? We just
Uh,
did blue.
Yeah.
Blue.
Or-
Perfect.
uh,
And my favorite color.
Hi, people.
Yay.
Hi, what's up?
Yes.
Shirt?
Uh,
Good, good. Hi there.
And
Hi.
Dialogue whole body. After learn and then ask okay.
There.
and you want regular?
Awesome.
Miss Davidson, you want regular?
Yeah.
You want regular?
Laura. Oh,
Regular? Decaf?
regular.
Okay.
What are you nuts?
Okay, and
With all respect, sir.
Vanilla?
Sir. Vanilla.
okay, and what kind of milk? What kind of milk? Okay, we got that. Okay. You know where stuff is. Okay, so let me-
It's that E after
Okay, okay.
Now, if I do teaching,
the D
my
Okay.
Which one are you on? Are you on the bottom one?
on the bottom one after the D instead of twice something
Third sentence?
after the D.
It's SUDETENLAND.
Where?
So it might be a crazy place to live.
No, it's
C-E-N
So there you go, right, we'll be back in a couple, and then we need to keep that together.
Okay. Oh, that helps. So now I've got,
It's still pretty though.
Oh, Skylar's here too.
Ba, ba,
Yeah, I know.
Right.
ba, ba, okay.
Still a bunch
Lumbara.
of-
Right?
He's still a bunch of there.
I mean, he looks like dogs out there, but
Okay.
but dogs are just so adorable when they get stung in the back. They're just like, fucking
Oh, you have that one.
They look so forlorn.
She's
Eli,
So
good morning.
they,
Yeah, there we go.
they're just not feeling bad, or is he really pissed off?
No, that's how Eli talks to me.
I can't tell.
How you doing, Eli? I don't know what's wrong with him.
I
John?
think it's both.
Hey, John.
Yes, I think he's mad and he doesn't feel too good.
Well,
That works.
I knew he wasn't feeling good over the weekend.
So I didn't think he's angry.
He was tired.
Well, what's the G? Never mind.
Okay.
I
Or
think
it's
so.
always for you anyway. Yeah, he's tired.
Now,
I bet. Oh, sure, talk to Serena.
Barlow.
I guess we're all just
Who's
pieces of
Davidson?
shit.
Yeah, but.
Jason, what's that word
Gonna
is?
be here, but All it's gonna do, if you can meet about for about 5 minutes.
That's some nice handwriting today.
If he's
Doesn't
not here, then we've met,
The G one.
recess the meeting, da-da-da-da.
There's no G.
It's
Yeah.
not a G?
No.
That's a Z.
Well, I'm
Okay.
not seeing G.
That's a
Oh, that's
Z.
a Z. Never mind.
Do we go now?
Rhineland?
No, I'm good.
Well, no, now I need to know.
Remilitarization of the
I'm fine.
Rhineland?
What?
Okay, and nothing's done. Annexation of Austria, nothing's done. Annexation of the Sudetenland. Well, we kind of agree to that. And Hitler said, I have no more territorial ambitions. And then off we go to the annexation of the rest of Czechoslovakia, which shows him to be a sniggin' liar. Then it's going to be the invasion and partition of Poland. Oh! Well, everybody's going to declare war against Germany and not Russia, because they're not going to take on both at once. But it's war, now the war has begun.
Hey, Barlow, my eyes are playing tricks on me. Can you tell me what that Z word is?
Z-E.
Which one? Down here?
The Z one.
The Z. It's Z-E. C-H-O.
Oh, Czechoslovakia. I know it's that. CZ, ECH, Czechoslovakia.
That is a long word.
No, everybody makes fun of that.
But can you at least
School,
write it a
school
little
children
bit?
for 100 years.
Can you at least write it a little bit bigger?
For him.
Okay, I'll write a little bit bigger. I'll do that for him.
Yeah.
I'll do it for the blind. Okay.
Yes, because I'm.
Of
No frame like him.
Oh my God, Annie.
Stop speaking
I
Spanish
know.
like a Mexican girl.
I don't like that at all.
You're not Mexican, too.
I know.
My name is after what?
Czechoslovakia. Once upon a time, a nation. A bit. Okay.
I've already checked that.
Okay. There's new seniors are doing actually. She's got the test she can start.
Tyler,
Oh no, that's right. No,
She
I'm sorry, wrong
finished.
one.
she finished.
Okay,
But
she's got
Tyler
her.
does, Tyler Platts does.
Yeah, she's got the
Yup.
test.
You
You
want
can
to
get
start
started.
the test?
Can you
But I
apply
thought
that?
a sixth period.
You can start it now. I have everything.
Dude, this place is going to be a zoo 6th period. We didn't want to do it now. Okay.
A zoo?
Means everyone's gonna be in here.
Add to like
And it's a
apes.
block period. I'm gonna
It's not just that. We got extra people who might be here.
You are here.
cry.
I am gonna cry.
Okay.
If that girl's in here, sister, I'm gonna live
Next part.
by myself.
What girl?
Japanese militarist, political belief and political movements and beliefs. Okay, can I take it off the board now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Boom.
I've got
Either
you
way, I
on
still
that.
have it, so
Okay.
Same here. That's the fun part.
Because you
Okay.
type.
You
You
type.
don't write. I don't think you made it.
And I have the horrible handwriting.
Yeah.
What?
Civil Corbel.
Okay.
Yeah.
These. So who's talking?
But have you seen mine?
That
Yours is sort of readable.
No. Mine is a ball. Mine is a ball.
Mine's Island.
Mine is no way to
Oh,
ball.
hi, Zan. How was your day?
Good.
You mean morning? Mine is spicy and hot.
Back to work, Silent. You look very nice today, by the way.
Militaristic imperialism.
You are
Now
certified.
these guys are working on the old school. They don't
Oh,
need
okay.
any fancy dancy
Just do it this time.
political movements.
Okay.
They just go, we're Japanese, you aren't, we're gonna conquer you because we can. Okay? Pretty simple. Okay?
Yes. Welcome. Hey, you just did it.
T of.
Okay.
What?
Let's see if they put this a little bit better way in here.
M
Yeah.
MILISTIEC.
Now, just like the Germans, Hitler would say, "We need Lebensraum." That means elbow room, living
Did
space.
Hitler speak any English?
Yes.
No, Hitler did not speak English.
Yes, he
He
did.
spoke like a few words.
Did he
like
speak
how I
anything
can
other
speak
than
a few
German?
words of Spanish. But
Yeah,
not,
he
like,
can speak.
So don't lie to
really
us.
fluently.
No, he can speak English. It's just hard for him.
Hitler?
Yes, he can. You didn't know
Where
that?
did you get that?
You didn't know that?
Are you?
Where did you
fooling
get
me?
it?
Probably from the internet.
I have.
My uncle told me that too.
Where did you get that? Where did he get it?
It's called-
What's the source?
It's called reading. It's called U.S.
Okay,
history.
exactly.
You know what?
What's the
This
source?
stop
It's
talking to
called
me.
Barlow talking to us, guys.
Uh-huh.
It's called Neil.
Pin
Learn
down
more
your
about
source.
Hitler.
Okay.
Dang, why would we want to learn more about
Because he's a
Okay.
sausage.
Because he's a
Okay,
sausage.
resources.
Did you say sausage?
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the best insult I've ever
Okay.
heard. Honestly.
Yeah, but I hope he's listening too.
Dude, what if he's looking down in the or no, he's looking up at
Yeah, there you go.
What's he gonna do? Yell at me.
I think Serena's tired.
Accidentally.
Somebody needs your info.
Oh, kill me.
So mean. What?
Yeah.
Last week, man. What the heck?
She can put you on blast with so many things you just don't know.
You're so nice to me.
Are you sure something? Not necessarily something.
No, I'm not nice to anyone.
Anyone
I should be, but
You know, good to me.
Yeah, enough saying.
I'm good.
Now Manchuria is part of China, but what they did is like lopped off a part that was a little bit ethnically different, and they set up a puppet state there, and they actually started colonizing. They started colonizing Korea, started colonizing Manchuria, which is going to be really iffy at the end of the war. All those people have to be uprooted and on the way home. They're not treated too well on the trail.
Just put a box through it, like a little line, and then do number 5.
Well, I did that for shrink with the logo.
But can you do to say one to number 5?
it'll confuse this.
It will
So this-
confuse me.
I'm sorry, what?
Can you do the line across number 5?
Oh, I'm going to erase that first. Okay, I'll take a picture of this one.
Confuse
I'll
you.
erase off because I want to use the whole thing.
I want to done
If you're going to ask me to write bigger, I'm going to take up more space. So,
At least
You gotta get used to writing bigger.
for you guys, yes. Okay.
but I like his humor.
You like it big.
I like Wallace's better.
Well, of course you like Wallace better. I mean, after all, isn't he an underwear model?
Oh my
Oh.
goodness.
Okay, you've heard that one before, right?
Yeah, we all heard it millions of times.
Yeah, I know.
Every day.
Sorry, what,
Yeah.
Pretty much 24/7.
I'll be right back.
wait, what we talking
Okay.
Underwear
Wallace is a
modeling.
nuclear model.
about? I can't see you being an underwear model. Me, on the other hand.
What? You just
Dude, don't
lying.
go there.
underwear
He's hella skinny.
Wallace
she's
is
an
talking
underwear.
about.
Carla, what's going on?
Skinny to the bone.
Wallace
Look
is
like
talking
Oh,
a
about
well.
being an underwear
But you
model.
look like Steve Urkel.
And you look like Alan.
Next part.
You
Is
look
it-
like,
Urkel
you
is
look like
cool.
Steve Urkel.
And you
Oh,
look
thank
I'm
like
going to take this off the
You
board
look
now.
like- I'm done.
See, that boy's rich.
Why, thank you.
Okay, folks. Tyler's taking tests so you can get a little quiet, so you can have to knock down your usual
Sorry, Tyler.
boisterous. Is it all right if you take it off the board now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
What's the magic word?
No.
No.
Sausage.
What's the magic word? Your face.
Please.
What's the magic word? No.
I find it kind of funny though
Magic word.
that in Italy and in Germany, people are going to have to come up with elaborate, I do mean elaborate, excuses to invade other people. And Japan, no excuse needed. We're Japanese, they aren't. Do what we want. Mm.
What did you say? Yours is the man. Yay!
What is that, please?
Yeah, I.
No.
uh,
Bye, Taylor.
I'm the best.
And we've got one more, don't we?
Bye, Taylor.
Okay, this is mine? Okay, this is
You are
yours.
the best.
Okay.
You need water? And
Man,
don't
I don't know.
cough. Stop saying coughing.
Okay.
I don't know what the best one is.
Oh, Lord, let me
Okay, you know
What?
what? Any kind of candy is really, really good.
Oh, okay.
There's no bad
go.
candy.
So it's not, so.
See,
I've had some bad candy.
I don't
Well,
know.
it's
different
You know what
cotton
it is,
candy.
so.
That's why it was bad. I understand.
You feeling better?
Mm-hmm.
Candy that's a decade old.
Fake chocolate.
Is your voice okay?
Candy that's a decade old.
I've been sick.
Okay. You are right. I am wrong.
He's right.
Because,
Number 5, by the way.
I recently like found
Only
candy
that
that my
thing
grandma
was
took away from me
feeling
when I was
better.
6 years old, and so
Yes.
Annie?
Yes,
I
you
can
do.
imagine. Alright, we're gonna get in trouble. Back to your text.
okay.
I'm looking.
What's he talking about?
I like that cookie.
Ouch.
Dang, God, only was so tall.
Excuse me, can you get out the way?
Wait, I'm gone.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I
Can
feel
you
it.
get out of the way? Like,
Hey, at least I said please.
oh, jeez. Well, that's why I enjoy being around you a lot. You're very funny.
Thank you. I'm trying
Now,
my best.
Franco Nazi wants more church influence. Now, the Nazis are getting rid of all church influence, but Francisco Franco wants to bring the Catholic Church to a more prominent part of daily life. So he's a little bit weird on the fact. His main deal with fascists is pretty much, I want to be dictator. I really don't care too much about fascist ideology. Bring the church back in. I want to bring in a past that never was. It's not even going to make Spain great again. It's just basically no communists allowed. That's pretty much his deal. No communists allowed. No liberals allowed either. And he's going to do his best to stay in his borders. He didn't give a rat's behind. I mean this. He doesn't give a rat's
Hitler?
behind.
Are you talking about Hitler?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about Franco.
Very
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Now, Franco is going to say, now, to show his solidarity with Hitler, he will loan a division of Spanish troops that will go to Russia during the invasion of Russia. They'll be there for a few months and then they'll go home. Losses were heavy, and that's it. Hitler will always be bugging him to join in the war effort, declare war against Britain, Great Britain, and he'll always hedge. Hey, can't quite do it now. But also, give you an idea, where Mussolini, Hitler kind of worshipped Mussolini at first. This is the guy I can follow. And when he meets Mussolini, he finds he has a more powerful personality. So Mussolini is, yes, master, to Hitler. So it reverses very quickly after Hitler meets Mussolini. Because Mussolini really doesn't have as strong a personality as Hitler does. So Hitler just completely overawes him. When Hitler goes to meet with Franco, and Franco gives him the Sphinx stare. Okay, they'll meet. First of all, they always meet on really neutral ground. I mean, on a rail car on the French-Spanish border, just after the France falls. Literally, half the rail car is in French territory under German control, and half the rail car is still in Spanish territory. That's what Franco's saying. They'll meet just like the border, just like this. And then Hitler would go into one of his monologues and yell, and Franco goes, "Oh, no. It's about me, don't you know this?" And Franco would just interrupt him. And Hitler's not used to being interrupted. I mean, he's the Fuhrer. And Franco says, "Okay, you're the Fuhrer north of the Pyrenees. North of the border here. You're not Fuhrer down here. Down here, I got my stuff. Stuff's got to be taken care of. So so what have you done for me lately?" Hitler's not used to this. So this is always one of those funny interludes where Franco is just his own man. There's no, yes, master, great fascist. No. Franco's his own. That's why Franco was allowed. Franco will actually enter Spain in NATO. Franco is going to survive World War II without a scratch. both Spain and Portugal, both of them fascist dictatorships, will join NATO and be allowed to, no problem. And then after Franco dies, Spain will become what it is today.
Still a little away.
Rather rolling democracy.
No problem.
Uh,
Have a good day.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Bono.
quite welcome.
Sorry.
So it's a little bit on the strange side. Fascist private property, but he had a vision for Spain and nothing but Spain, and it sure didn't involve fighting overseas or with other countries. Okay. Aggressive action. Okay.
Am I allowed
Spanish Civil War.
to use notes?
I don't know.
Have you used notes in the past?
Well, it depends on the test. There's different tests that you're allowed to, and there's different tests that you're not allowed to.
Then I would say no.
So Spanish Civil War overthrew
Excuse me, sir.
just a minute.
You're excused.
It came out of nowhere.
Well, he said excuse me, so it's polite.
Is your name Mr. Bono?
You
You
didn't
don't
say
have
it.
to be so rude.
I was talking.
Okay, there you go. The help from Italy and Germany. Now, Italy, they found their weapons were not very good in the Spanish Civil War.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of
They didn't learn much
changing
from
going
it
on
either.
today.
Germany found that their Messerschmitt 109, newly minted, and in fact, at first they even using British Peregrine, Rolls-Royce Peregrine engines, pretty good planes. But they know what the upgrades they need to make to those new planes. Find out how to use the Stukas, and the Germans also find out that their tanks are caca. They're bad. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well, the tanks are only armed with machine guns at that time.
What
Germans
time
had
is it?
miserable tanks at the
It's
beginning.
8:23 a.m.
At the end of the war, they'll have some of the world's best tanks. But at the very beginning, they start off with the crappy little two-man jobbers that frequently catch fire because their engine overheats. It has nothing to do with combat. I mean, they lose 1/3 of their tank force in the invasion of Austria, and where nobody gets hurt. There's breakdowns, and the tank catches on fire. Germans learned, though. Germans learned very quickly. Very quickly.
Don't we do too?
No.
Yes.
Okay,
Nowadays we
Sherman
do.
tanks versus Sherman tanks going up against Panthers and Tigers. Not a fun sight. Okay, a lot of Americans and British crewmen cooked in those tanks because they went up against because we couldn't realize that the enemy was coming up with so much better tanks so quickly. Other things we didn't learn: our torpedoes were garbage. So were the Germans. The Germans learned real quickly. First of all, they bought all the Italian torpedoes they could. Italians made really nice ones. We took us almost 2 years to figure out our submarine-launched torpedoes didn't go boom for a very good reason. It wasn't a matter of maintenance because they were designed crappy. The Germans basically court-martialed the people in charge of their torpedoes. We just simply shuffled them off to other jobs. Very simple. Aircraft. Ooh, we did learn aircraft. Ooh, we learned. So parts of us, Americans learn in some ways, in parts we don't. It depends on which group. The American Armored Forces took a long time learning. American Navy could take a long time learning. Especially the whole thing of the Solomons campaign, we took a long time learning. American Air Force, because it's kind of a new force and it's led by mostly young men, learn real quick. I mean, real quick. Quick. So basically, when you got the older guys in there, older guys just simply don't learn as fast as youngers. We have a hard time abandoning the old ideas. We always want to fight the last war.
Yeah, no.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's go this way, okay? American Civil War was fought on Napoleonic tactics, so the weapons were far more deadly. Well, kind of sort of more deadly, as much as the history books would say. The French were trying to fight the War of 1870 and World War I. Didn't work out. French and Germans both. Then the French were trying to fight the World War I during World War II. You know, always the tactics. They never agreed to. Yeah, it may have worked the last war, but it won't work in the next one. They were real bad about that. The United States got pretty bad about that. That's one of the reasons we had such problems in Vietnam. Wanted to fight the last war. Okay, each war is different. Each war is going to be completely different. You always want to fight the last war. That's a real issue. Okay, so we got that part done. Okay. So we get an idea that things are boiling. Now, one of the worksheets we'll all be working on, but I told you I'd give you a little bit of. We will be working on this worksheet later on. This is how basically everything we take a look at everything. It's popping up, it's going on, and we don't do jack. Doesn't involve us, doesn't involve us, doesn't involve us. Until one day, go boom, it involves us. But we weren't. Now, the one thing we'll learn is that America was not ready for World War II, but at the same time, America was a whole lot more ready than people think it was. By the time the Japanese dropped their bombs on Pearl Harbor, we have at least 10 battleships either have just been finished up or are in the process of being built. That also includes 17 aircraft carriers, probably about 15 cruisers. We've given orders for literally hundreds of destroyers and submarines and the like. So most people don't realize that there was a huge amount of stuff that's coming all the way whether we went to war or not. Not one battleship or carrier that took part in that in the war was begun after Pearl Harbor.
How did wars start?
Wars start when somebody believes one side believes they can win. That's what starts wars.
Okay, but then I had to commit so much violence.
Yeah,
That's sad.
it is sad.
That is
It's one of the worst wars. But if one side thinks they can win, you've got a war going.
Well, one side can think they can win, but
Well, the Germans thought they could win.
But they didn't, right?
That's why they started the war.
No,
Okay.
I wish I was even.
Japan thought they could win. In Japan's case, both Japan and Germany, there was no way they were going to win. You take a look from the hindsight, and you look at just the raw amount of power their opponents would be able to bring to bear. You're dumb. They were dumb. I mean, Japan had no chance. We fought that war with one hand behind our back. More than that, we fought that war with 40% of the war effort against Japan. Because we put 60% into the invasion of Europe, against Germany. 60% of our resources and military power went to Europe. 40% went to Japan. And we creamed their clock. How on earth did they think they were going to win?
Tell me.
You got psychologists looking at that all the time. Okay? Sociology. What made these guys think they could win?
Even they doing that like as we speak or no?
As we speak. And they still trying to. We go through this. Every generation we have a complete revamping of what we know, or we think we know. And then sometimes we dig up memoirs or stuff that we didn't know before. But we're always undergoing that. In fact, it wasn't until just about 20 years ago that somebody did a detailed study of exactly how ready Japan was to go to war. I can bring that in for you, okay? They weren't, okay? They're toast, man. It's called rose-colored glasses. And we did that going into Iraq. Rose-colored glasses. They'll welcome us in as liberators, and everything will be nice afterward. Okay? So you get like that. You got to watch that kind of stuff. You remember, when
I don't have digital. I don't have.
No, I'm not saying you watch it. I'm saying stuff in the future. When somebody, a politician, in general, say everything is just going to be cool. No, it's not. You're just not planning. You're just not planning. Everything's going to go to hell. You know everything. So you got to plan for everything just going to pieces because it's going to. Once all your plans go to pieces once the first person dies. Okay, that's the way it is, man. Or they say no battle plan ever survives first contact. It all goes to pieces. It just depends on how you handle those pieces.
Okay, let me get it through here. Spend half an hour doing that.
Huh?
Spend
Yeah.
half an hour talking.
Well, yeah, it happens sometimes. Let me get this thing on. Oh, let me get the what I want to show you.
You're gonna get distracted by talking.
Hey, it's better than working.
And we're gonna watch On Our Way.
I am later.
Yeah.
Is that a movie?
It's what a
Is that
movie.
your butt?
Okay, so it grows.
That's pretty
What?
funny.
I didn't know the conversation. I was just yelling.
That's pretty funny.
Indeed. It is glory.
How are you today? What's the Peter say?
How is it?
Been better than
Because
worse?
I'm taking a wild guess. It's small like your face.
Yeah, me too. What's the deal?
See, you're
It's
really
very
funny.
dangerous.
I guess, huh?
Yes.
She doesn't have school today. Bye, Brandon. No, you won't.
Okay, taking this off.
She got sick. Ryan and Tyler, they're not here. Actually, she has
I'm right here.
She has a, no, the other one.
Tyler.
So she's not going.
The other Tyler's there. I can stay here and watch a movie.
Yeah, we remember last year we had 4 Tylers. Boy, didn't
Yeah.
that
Oh my
good.
God, we had 4 Tylers. Ugh.
Yeah.
I'll check in with
How was that? Most of them were annoying as heck.
you. We did.
Bye. Have fun. Wait, okay.
Oh, you remember Tyler Lamont? Okay.
Yeah, I remember. I definitely.
He's the one who gave me the
remember
Wi-Fi
Tyler.
password.
But
What?
He's the one who gave me the Wi-Fi password.
I still wonder where he got it.
Probably some
Tyler
student.
Lamont, he's living with
Yeah.
his mom in like Roseville.
Is he doing okay?
Yeah, he's going to high school and stuff. It's better now that he's not with his dad.
Okay, good.
His dad used to live over here. That's why he went here. I know where he used to, where his dad lives. Don't tell me. I mean, don't ask me.
We're talking about the student one.
They picked me up before him at La Vista.
She didn't even wait back.
Oh my gosh. Watching him almost get in a fight at La Vista was fun.
What?
Tyler Lamont almost talked himself into a fight.
He does that all the stinking
I
time.
know, but it was funny.
Who is Tyler Lamont?
He had like short blackish hair. He was kind of chubby. He was white. And he was like this tall. And,
That's it.
Oh, well, you remember? How many of you remember? Oh God, what was his name? Joanna.
oh my
Mm.
god.
Hey, that's not
Giovanna?
Auntie's
You remember
name.
Joanna?
Giovanna?
No.
Yeah.
He's the one.
You
She
stop right
tapped his
there.
earphone, so he looks up at her, and
That's
he
not
called
Auntie's
you
name.
big fat black bitch, and she didn't kill him. She
She didn't
turned him
kill
in
him.
for the racial what? I was stunned. I thought he was dead right then. I
You
thought he'd be
should've
up there with a
been.
cutting knife, scraping him
That
off
is
the
my
floor.
auntie's name.
He should have died.
What,
for that.
Joanna?
Like, he,
Yes. Auntie.
Well, no, I was good for her.
No, it was
Okay.
good for her, yeah. But
Giovanna?
like,
She not really.
just speaking about him.
Yeah, well,
She might
dude, sometimes you deserve to get nailed. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, sometimes you just gotta come.
And I give you
That's
assurance
the
and
one wife
reassurance
Why?
that every effort of your government will
We're
be
not discussing
directed
this.
toward that end.
Why are we
As
watching
long as it remains within my power to prevent, there will be no blackout of peace in the United States.
1937. What? Narrated by Laurence Olivier.
What is this?
After World War I, there was a surge of isolationism feeling was we had no reason for us becoming involved in World War I, and we made a mistake, and that there were a lot of debts which were owed by European countries, and the country went isolationist.
I'm the slight idea of European affairs.
But you're a fighter on battle. Not a war, not for me. This time America should keep out, and I know I will. If war breaks out in Europe, I think that this country should heed the advice of its first president and avoid all foreign entanglement.
In early 1940, Britain's ambassador in Washington reported that 9 out of 10 Americans were determined to keep America out of the war. A few, like the American Nazi Party, were even determined that America should aid Britain's enemies.
Protester. Oh, it's like a Trump rally, actually.
Oh.
Their country was enormously divided. There was the America First movement, which was advocating isolation.
By the way, that's the United States right now.
There was the William Allen
Not right now, but back
Committee
then.
to defend America by aiding the Allies.
The Nazi Party.
We had these curious voices such as Charles Lindbergh and so on, which are the voices of isolationism.
In the past, we have built with a Europe dominated by England and France. In the future, we may have to deal with the Europe dominated by Germany. If we desire...
Charles Lindbergh, thanks to his extraordinary exploit, was a very popular figure. He was almost a folk hero, and so he would have influence. I suppose that celebrities of all characters do have influence, otherwise they wouldn't be endorsing products all the time.
But it should not involve the internal affairs of Europe. They never were and never will be carried on according to our desires.
There was a strong anti-British antipathy in certain parts of the country. It was felt that Britain was trying very hard to drag us into its war.
1940 was presidential election year in the United States, and Roosevelt's main concern that summer was to get himself re-elected.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 22nd convention of the Republican Party will now come to order. Even as we meet, lights are going out in Europe. Blackouts of dictators take the place of lighthouses of free men. Ours is the grave responsibility to preserve the lighthouses of liberty. In the name of the people of the whole United States, I pledge the nominations that valiant Americans. Welcome, General
After France's fall, most Americans were disposed to aid Britain in some way, but still more were strongly opposed to entering the war on Britain's side.
Third-term candidate has not kept faith with the American people.
Roosevelt's opponent in the presidential election that autumn was an out-and-out anti-war candidate, Wendell Wilson.
His promise to keep our boys out of foreign wars is no better than his promise to balance the budget. They're already almost on the transport.
But with the Nazis triumphant everywhere, Roosevelt couldn't afford to wait to be re-elected before putting America on some sort of war footing.
The Congress has debated without partisanship and has now enacted a law establishing a selective method of augmenting our armed forces. We must and we will marshal our great potential strength to fend off war from our shores. More than 16 million young Americans are reviving the 300-year-old American custom of the muster, by which from the earliest colonial times, every able-bodied citizen was subject to the call for service in the national defense.
John, you want to do that when you got some light?
I can see.
The first number drawn by the Secretary of War is serial number 158.
I'm honored to be one of those first calls, and I'll try very hard to make a real good soldier.
And I'm proud of you.
If you elect me President of the United States, I shall never send an American boy to fight in any European war.
I consider it a public duty to answer falsifications with facts. I will not pretend that I find this an unpleasant duty. I am an old campaigner and I love a good fight. Roosevelt fought his good fight. Though to stay in the race, he had promised, like his opponent, not to send American boys to fight in foreign wars.
Name, please.
November the 5th, 1940, was election day. And by midnight, America's choice of president for another 4 years was clear.
The results are now conclusive. Roosevelt wins.
That's his third term. Never flaw or sense as a president done that.
Now re-elected, Roosevelt felt he had a mandate to give Britain all aid short of war. But he could only move slowly, for America was still deeply divided.
Many of the war measures, such as steps to give aid to Britain at the time when England was standing alone and was beleaguered, many just squeaked by in Congress. Even a program of armament, of preparedness, was military preparedness, got through Congress on very, very close votes, 1-vote margins in a total of 400 votes.
Then the extraordinary piece of legislation, which was Lend-Lease, was proposed in December of 1940, then that became law in March of 41. And under that, the President did everything he possibly could to give aid to Britain. Now, my instructions, when I went over to represent him, were very simple, very brief. They were to contact the British government to find out what we could do to help Britain short of war. And we began at once doing all sorts of things which were not really neutral under the literal interpretation. For instance, we were preparing British naval vessels in American ports, and we escorted your convoys across the Atlantic as far as Iceland. We transferred 2 million tons of ships.
The immediate problem was to get people to understand what it was. In this, I think Mr. Roosevelt's very simple analogy of lending your neighbor a fire hose when there's a fire was the most persuasive kind of simple illustration.
People of Europe who are defending themselves do not ask us to do their fighting. They ask us for the implements of war, the planes, the tanks, the guns, freighters, which will enable them to fight for their liberty and our security. We must be the great arsenal of democracy. For us, this is an emergency as serious as war itself.
In those days, the business community regarded Roosevelt as at a minimum as a major deputy of the devil, and Roosevelt was deeply suspicious of the businessmen, so that the people who were associated with the mobilizing of the war had a divided interest. Some of them felt that their main purpose in being in Washington was to put a curb on the socialist excesses of the New Deal. Some of them were uneasy about being there. They had something of the feeling of people who were playing in an orchestra in a brothel. And there was also a great unwillingness. We hear now about the military-industrial complex. In those days, there was a great unwillingness to convert from civilian industry. There was a feeling that war production would be a very unprofitable business. You would lose markets for automobiles, for tires, for chemicals, and so forth. There was a problem with some of the unions up until June of 1941, until Russia was in the war, and in the days of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, there was foot dragging on the part of some of the union leaders. There were strikes.
4 times as many workers were on strike in 1941 as in the year before. That spring, nearly 500,000 coal miners struck for almost a month, while on the west coast, a walkout that summer of North American aviation delayed deliveries of planes to Britain for several weeks. It took troops to get production moving. But although Roosevelt was still reluctant to lead America into war, the war was now catching up with America. June 11th, 1941, an American freighter, the Robin Moore, was sunk by a U-boat. Roosevelt used this as a pretext for occupying Iceland and relieving the British garrisons there. September the 4th, the U.S. destroyer Greer was attacked by a U-boat near Iceland. Roosevelt now told his Navy to shoot on sight. October the 16th, the U.S. destroyer Kearney was struck by a German torpedo while escorting a convoy in mid-Atlantic, and 11 of her crew were killed. Roosevelt used this incident to push through Congress the repeal of the Neutrality Act.
We have wished to avoid shooting, but the shooting has started, and history has recorded who fired the first shot. In the long run, however, all that will matter is who fired the last shot.
The repeal of our Neutrality Act will be the last step on the road to war. If we load our ships with contraband of war and send them into combat zones, they will most certainly be sunk. And that means war. A war which, in the opinion of many of us, although designed to save democracy abroad, will surely destroy it at home right here in America.
On October the 30th, the U.S. destroyer Reuben James was sunk with a loss of 115 lives.
Officers and all hands forward perished. Myself and 45 men were all alive.
But despite pressure from Churchill, who dearly wanted America in the war, Roosevelt now did nothing. It was becoming clear it would take much more than the drowning of 100 or so American seamen to bring America into the war.
There was even sentiment, I remember this being expressed to the effect that England would fight to the last American.
There were steps that were developing, the gradual steps to be sure, somewhat comparable to the steps that took place in World War I. You know, one incident after another. I remember the torpedoed Sussex got us excited, and then there was the Lusitania episode. In the same way, I think that with the moves that Mr. Roosevelt were making, the cash and carry program that he had, the protection of the convoys, the destroyer deal, one thing and another was occurring that would be apt to produce, I think, an incident that would set the war off.
The incident, when it came, was massive. It came in an unexpected place, Pearl Harbor.
All Army and Navy bases on the island of Oahu in Hawaii are now under air attack. For the latest news, keep tuned to this station.
I found that my superior, who was in charge of all of the civilian operations of the war, was away. So I was then sent on to the great meeting of the wartime leaders that convened in Washington on the night of Pearl Harbor. I remember my sense of mission in going into that meeting. We had also seen the war coming. Here was the day, and here was the hour, and here was I attending the meeting with the other great men. We got to the meeting, and the other great men, myself included, were one hell of a disappointment, because nobody could think of anything to say or do. And it seemed like a good idea to see what materials were threatened by the Japanese advance. Everybody was coming in during the course of this, some in sport jackets, and some in tennis shoes. And it became terribly evident that nobody had any real information as to where these strategic commodities came from. And eventually the whole discussion bogged down, I remember, on the question of kapok. Kapok, everybody thought was a strategic, it was clearly listed as a strategic material. It evidently came from that part of the world, and nobody could think, for God's sake, what the stuff was used for.
I ask that the Congress declare that since the unprovoked and dastardly attack by Japan on Sunday, December 7th, 1941, a state of war has existed between the United States and the Japanese Empire.
Even now, Roosevelt couldn't bring himself to ask that the United States declare war on Germany, although Britain had already allied herself with the US against Japan. But Hitler decided for him.
For some unexplained reason, Hitler declared war on the United States, which relieved Roosevelt of all of his difficulties.
Well, I was practicing law in Chicago at that time. That is, at the time of Pearl Harbor. And I can tell you that if Hitler had not made this decision, if he had simply done nothing, that there would have been an enormous settlement in the United States, in many parts of the United States, that the Pacific War now was our war, that the European war was for the Europeans, and that we should concentrate all our efforts against the Japanese.
Oh, give me land, lots of land on the starry skies above. Don't fence me in, let me ride through the wide open
Blacking out the headlights doesn't show as much. The idea is that
selling their homes at a
against
fraction
air
of their
raids.
value. They were certain that the West Coast would be under attack, that we'd be bombed here. There were even blackouts along the West Coast as there were along the East Coast. And there were even some false alerts here.
Not everybody took these precautions seriously.
There was a tremendous change, the change being that we were the same individuals prior to December 7th. December 8th, when we went to school, many of our classmates and friends called us dirty.
Okay, that is something else that happened. It's unfortunately an American thing. One of the things we'll talk about, because it was unique to the United States, was the internment of Japanese Americans. You could be citizens, you can't keep away from the West Coast. Now, if you live someplace like Chicago, someplace like that, nobody bothered you. I shouldn't say nobody, you still might get hustled on the street. But the whole idea is that if you were on the West Coast, the Japanese, even though you're American citizens, you're going to be forced to sell all your stuff, pack all your goods, and off you go to a, quote, relocation camp in a very, very desolate part of the state. You ever been up to Mammoth, actually not Mammoth, you ever been up to, Tule Lake?
No.
Okay, let's put it this way. Let me see. Let me do North America here. We might get it. I don't think it's going to be good enough, but let me show you Tule Lake. Okay, California here. Tule Lake's right up on the border with Oregon. Now, is there a more desolate place on the face of in the United States? Not really. Okay. Lava Beds National Monument is up there, but basically it was gathering all the Japanese from the West Coast into these relocation camps. Now, it doesn't mean you couldn't get out. If you were going to say, okay, I got a job in Nebraska, you could get out of the camp. But everybody who lived along the West Coast. Now, there's some Japanese towns like Florin, basically were stripped all the Japanese, and they lost all their property too. Okay, they were just impoverished. So that used to be kind of like a Japanese part of Sacramento County, was along Florin Road there. Florin just stripped the Japanese, and they're all off to the camps. Now, they didn't do that to the large Japanese population, or Japanese American population, in Hawaii. They couldn't. They didn't have the transport for it. So it's funny, in Hawaii, where they weren't subjected to that kind of harassment, that's where you get most of the Japanese who joined the American Army. But it's really hard to convince a guy whose government is just forcing him to pack up and take his family to the interior. Kind of hard to convince him he needs to join the American Army. Okay, and you didn't have to. Now, the Japanese Americans that did join the Army, joined what we call the Nisei Battalion, the most decorated unit in the U.S. Army. Okay, became, and they fought in Europe, where they wouldn't, you wouldn't have any problem with being a misidentification. If you're in Europe, you look like Japanese. Oh, it must be one of those American soldiers. But it would be a real problem. Okay, what is it now? Okay, you guys have to go. I'm sure that's it. 3 new messages. Wow. Okay. Okay, let's start. Okay, you. Okay. That's so fun. I didn't get that one. Okay.
Have a good day at work. We're not going to work. All right, we'll see you later. Get out. Bye, John. I hope you feel better.
Jesus, all y'all are leaving?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know where that came from.
Try to get some sleep
Serena.
tonight. Bye. So try to get some sleep.
Okay.
Only have 4 hours.
I have no idea who this is, but it's downloading a message. And okay, I don't need it then. Okay. So what the heck?
Everyone on Twitter was tweeting about this stupid task test. And like, because there was a second part of it, and I haven't done it yet. But then, like, and it's about a jet line. And then, like, at the jet line, who the heck uses the jet line for that? Like, the whole concept of it.
Oh, did they? He wants to buy Duck Derby, okay. So where did they get mine? Where on earth did they get my number? Okay. Okay, yes, sir. Okay, they're all headed out. Let's see, that's Stefan, Elias, okay. John, Simon, okay. Yeah, and Irma. Okay.
Is mine up?
Oh, Xylan, got Xylan? Yeah.
Do you have mine?
Where are they going?
Yeah. Test. Yeah.
Oh.
How's your
Okay.
test going?
Good.
Oh crap. Oh crap. Oh crap. I gotta do something about that. All those kids meant to go to the thing.
What is it?
Do you want me to go for it to them, or are you
Well,
got
no,
it?
it's they're heading off campus. We're supposed to be P7.
Oh dear.
Oh, we have
Is that
a
detention?
Conflict.
we have a conflict. Okay, let me deal with that. And
You're
we're gonna
fine.
get some more kids in here, by the
You're
way.
good, you're good.
Heather's sending some more.
Okay.
Okay, so let me go. Holy crap!
Mr. Barlow?
Yeah.
Is mine not there?
Why would it come here? Because you're not in here. It will be in Miss Squeezy's class. It will be in Miss Squeezy's class. It will be delivered there.
You all right with that?
No.
Oh, because you don't want to go get it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna take it out.
Do you need a pass to get in there? To P7? I don't think so. I think your name's on the list and you're good.
Right. I mean, everyone that didn't come with a pass, or they accidentally threw it away because Kat threw hers away, she just went in there. I don't think there'll be problems. So,
Like Like, you know you have to do testing.
Yeah, and they know it too, so I don't think so. Freak. I just don't, when I give my project to my math teacher, I don't want him to say, where's your pass?
That's a cool map.
Type to say,
You like it?
Yeah. It has a map of the time zones.
Time zones are funny things, huh?
Yeah. In Hawaii, it's 3 hours earlier.
Mm-hmm. In New York?
It's 3 hours later.
Perfect.
I kind of want to make them like blend into each other. You know what I mean? Like
gradients?
Yes, there you go. I got you.
So I'll just pick like, you want them to be gradient like this?
Yes.
Okay, then pick 3 for each color. So 3 shades of each color.
I have to get this done by the end of like at 10. We have an hour.
Miss Davidson, I should be getting credit for this, you know.
She should. Okay, if I would have waited till tomorrow to do this project, it would have been like 15 points.
And today?
30. If that's only if I didn't do it wrong. But he explained it to me pretty well, I think.
It doesn't look wrong to me, so.
Yeah, does it look even? That's right, the lines.
Yeah.
It's like right triangles.
Yeah, then
Do you understand it?
The curve? Yeah, I do.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't understand the concept of it, but I understand, like, how to do it, you know? I don't know what it's about. Because it's math. Yeah. Our math, no, it's not. The past testing is so hard. Like,
did you already take the math part?
Yeah, this is the math part. We're doing math this week and then English next week.
Now, how do you know it's hard?
Because there was calculus in them. And I asked Kat, do you have any idea do you understand any of this? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, I don't know. How?
I don't think she knew you were talking about that.
No, when we were
I'm
testing.
sure. No, I heard on the news this morning, 56% of Americans favor legalization of stringless socks.
Yeah.
Isn't it today 420?
Today's 420.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah. Nice.
Miss Davidson, you're such a prude.
I can't believe it fell off like that.
Dude, I can't believe people used to wear those type of socks to school. Like, you know the ones I bet you were one of them. Oh, you are one of them!
Uh-huh.
Whatever.
Yeah, I'm celebrating.
You could just say they're palm trees like everyone does. Yeah.
Palm tree.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, the people believe them. But people can't. Hey, Zai, did you understand anything on the test?
On the math part? Yes, I actually understand a few things.
I only understood like 5 questions. How is that possible? We're both in geometry.
I only understand 6 of them, so I was a question ahead of you.
Geometrics.
Tell you the truth, I did
Come
not
on.
know a single thing. When I saw the first question, I'm like,
I know, me neither. I was like, what the heck?
as soon as I went, I'm like, I was like, Matt,
And
this will be easy.
Did a lot of people leave, like, just doing the first test?
Yes, a lot of people left about doing the first test.
And then a lot of people said, oh, I'm just going to come back tomorrow to do the
Yeah.
second test.
Carlos, the kid next to me, he was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm like, I was like, Carlos, you're a geometry, you should know this. He said, I know, but I can't do
no
this.
geometry on that. Okay, there was, but like 3 questions. Like, what the heck? And then at the end, it asked you, do you want to submit these scores to colleges?
I said no.
Do not release.
I said don't release.
No, please don't. I pushed that too. I was like, do not
I was
release,
like,
do
I'm
not
not ready
release.
for them to see my scores.
I don't even want to think about my scores.
Carlos next to me, he was this. He went squared. He was like A, next B, next C, next A, next B.
That's what I did last year, honestly.
He freaking skipped through the whole thing until he reached number
Look, I
28. He
literally
was like,
got
okay,
below
I'm sorry.
average on every
Yes, no.
single test that we took.
Population.
Dude, that test is hard.
We got below average even if I didn't click randomly.
Me too. I would have too.
I told Carlos, the test took you to the lowest level possible. This is division. You should know these now.
But
He
the
said, I know
good thing
this.
is,
Hey, guys, we do have someone asking.
oh,
So Zyla,
sorry.
why don't you head back
Tyler
with
does
your
not
stuff?
care.
sorry.
Well, he's not working, so maybe we can get him to answer a couple more questions.
Well, that map has a population and a natural vegetation.
Awesome.
It's really interesting. Canada has barely any population.
Serena and Tyler sitting in a tree?
No, Miss Davidson, definitely not.
Which Tyler?
Not you.
Are you talking about Jenkins?
Uh-huh.
It'd be like having a conversation with a rock, honestly.
He is a little dull in that aspect.
But you know what? Some say, well, you know.
No, he's really nice though.
He's nice, but like,
I've known him
it's
since
just
4th
like-
grade.
it's like talking to a ghetto rock. Oh shit!
Ghetto rock.
It's gonna be taped down.
Once again, Serena has put together two words I have never heard before.
What?
Like ghetto rock. That's a new one for me. After hanging out with Serena, sometimes I feel like I could be cool if I tried a little harder. But
I taught you how to do
alas.
I taught you how to do the pose.
My kids say I'm really not cool. You know those little Nickelodeon shows, how they have like the mom being stupid?
Yeah.
My kids are always like, Mom, look, that's you!
Nickelodeon shows nowadays are just crappy.
What? I agree with you, sir.
Dude,
Yeah.
same.
What is going on? Where's the Adventure Time?
So is you.
Hello?
Freaking Disney Channel.
Cartoon Network.
That's Adventure Time. Actually, Boomerang, man.
That's nice.
That's classic stuff.
That's awesome stuff.
Okay, so there was this show on Teen Nick like super long ago. It only had maybe like 2 seasons aired, and it was called Mr. Meaty. It was about these like it's all like puppets, like legit hand puppets, filming all of this out, and it's really cool. And there are these 2 teenagers that work in a food court in a mall, and they go through all these wacky.
I know this one. Yeah. That, you know,
I
my
thought it was
kids
super
love
awesome.
that. They love that show. What's it called?
Mr. Meaty.
Mr. Meaty?
You know what? I know that show too. It's creepy.
That's why it got canceled, because everyone was like,
It's creepy.
like they had an episode with a parasite where he ate the raw hot dog and then he got a parasite, and so every time he had food in his hand, it would just like disappear, but it was just the worm.
You know, I'm looking at them in my brain.
Oh my god, really awkward looking. I admit it. It's creepy, but that's why I liked it when I was a kid, because it was like creepy and it was weird. And then the one where they drink the girl soda thing, and he turned into a girl.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That was my favorite.
Holy.
I mean,
That was the first trans
creepy
episode ever.
attracts creepy. Oh my god. But anyway,
Alas.
it's a little bit.
Well, shit, I did.
Well, if you want me to do something, I'll do something. I just don't
Did
want
you
to.
pick out your colors yet?
I am though. My mom's like, why would you wait until now to do your stupid project? Because she legit told me last night, why are you waiting? Why are you waiting? Like, do it now. And I was like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just not. And then I kind of forced myself this morning to do like half of it. Because I only got like 6 out of 30 of these dots done. But it takes forever to trace. Like,
Hi.
Excellent work. Excellent work. Why don't you take a break? But
Did you know that Nicholas is actually a Japanese general?
Oh, well, there you go.
I actually thought that, okay, we learned this in a history class last year. I thought he was American until I found that he was the leader of the Japanese Spartans.
Interesting.
I was like, what? He's Japanese? All those answers are
Are you gonna have coffee on this? Unless you want to like make 3D ones and like stick it through with one of those button things.
oh, right. Do you think that'd be okay?
Miss Davidson,
Do
You have those little things that attach pieces of paper. You like stick it through the paper and then you fold the ends of it on the back and then you can like. It's like a. What
I
do
know
they
what
call
you're
it?
Start again.
It's a pen.
No, it's like a pin, but like.
Pin where you okay. Do you know
It's like a nail.
There's
Looking.
that,
It looks like a nail, and you stick it in paper, and then you fold the two ends of it back, and then it like binds paper together. It's like a paper clip, but it like goes through, and it's like brass something.
yes, it looks like a tack, but without
Yes.
the sharp point.
Yes, we have that.
Maybe let's see.
I told you.
Look. Say thank you.
I gotta say thank you.
Ashley. When are you going? Fourth period.
When you're Spanish, fourth period.
Zylan, you gotta pass too, you know.
That's what I asked.
I'm gonna take my dumb ass time because I'm sorry.
Ashley.
I'm sorry. Cause
Ashley.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna
See, Ashley, like, watch your friggin' mouth.
Watch your mouth, Miss.
I'm sorry. Okay, but like I'm not trying to walk in there like
Okay, but like.
Okay, but like,
No, but there has to be something on campus, right? So when he comes back, I will go to Karen, the secretary, because she has everything. Can I just go to her right now? Well, is she nice to you? Oh, she's really nice to you. Fly like the wind. Fly like a bird.
Ashley, I will be back. I'm going to get one of those. Okay, so,
Alright, and you need to use these pinkies.
please.
And well, you know, you need to wait till you're in your shredder first. So you need to take this.
Yes, I will. These are such nice colors.
Does she have like the colors of all colors?
She does.
I mean, look. Let's just look at the green. There's 5 greens. This is 1. There's 6 greens. This could be a green. This is
I'm trying to do.
Holy cow! That's 7 greens, and we're not even done. Amazing.
Yeah, here's another green.
That's amazing.
I'm trying to go for gradient effect. Okay, this was what I was gonna use.
Those are cute, but my kid uses those. No.
No, these are my brothers. My
They're
10-year-old
cool.
brothers.
They're
Yes.
cool though.
Yeah, like for 10-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. These are cool for someone my age.
Yes. In fact, yeah, I would let. Do you know how much all those cost?
Yeah, Serena told me once.
It's like she must have. It has to be over $100 for all the different sets she had to buy to get those.
She said once she bought markers for like $300 or something.
See that is, and she doesn't have just those. She has those really thin ones.
Yeah, those are the ones I'm talking about.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, if I was good at like art and stuff like her, I'd probably buy the expensive stuff too. But I'm not, so
No.
I'll leave it to her.
What is Serena's favorite? Like, if she went to the grocery store, what would she pick out to eat?
She eats a lot of candy.
She eats a lot of candy.
We went to the movies together. We got like 3 different types of candy in the big bags.
Did you buy them at the movie theater or did you
No,
buy them?
we went to.
I love the Smart Shop.
We went to Rite Aid, I think.
Sure.
And then we went to the drive-thru. And movie candy at the movie theaters are so expensive. So.
It's kind of ridiculous.
I got my passes, bro.
Yeah, some really nice guy brought it to her. Yeah.
La la, okay.
Oh, he's in my Spanish class.
Whatever.
Oh, okay. Ooh la la, yeah.
Oh, God.
Spanish club.
Okay.
I don't know. That's more Italian.
Ashley, do you like Disney princesses?
I do.
You do?
Okay.
Look, I have a pen.
Wait, Mom, first of all, I never got
It
to
needs
say-
a home.
She's going to an appointment. I know.
Okay. I know. Been there myself. I have my meds I have to take because of that.
This is a nice pen.
Yeah, well, you can have it.
I can.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Sarah,
You're
and
starting
Alex
a
won't
really
be here
cool
either.
collection of pens.
I am.
The dread thing, I
Oh.
have to say.
Ernesto won't be here either.
Cook for boys pen?
I don't, my friend. I'm sorry. Isn't
It's
that cool
fine.
though?
Yeah.
That the princess thing is from Disneyland.
But we will be
I
getting
love
some
Disney.
gifts.
Don't you have princess?
I don't.
I don't think Disney princes are like relevant.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
pretty
they're
sure
kind
they
of
are.
like background characters. They're necessary for the princess
Yes.
story, but not, you know.
Beauty and the Beast. They share the Beast pen.
Oh yeah, he's kind of well. They kind of share the role. No, she's a little more. I don't know.
I'm sure you had a spell that was basically on her, but Beauty and the Beast before. There were a few main actors there.
All right, are we heading back to work? Is there still a break?
I just started
we have
bringing
no
5
kids.
minutes ago.
Huh? Well, I'm speaking for Xylan. Oh.
Xylan needs to be back to work.
I just started breaking 5 minutes ago.
No, it was not 5 minutes ago.
2 minutes ago?
No,
Dude,
10.
don't even go there.
He's
Back to
had
work.
like 10 minutes of break.
Okay, go.
Okay, I'll go back to
We'll
work.
give you another break. We'll go back to work.
Okay.
Yeah, and if there's if you need another break, you legitimately have like just a half hour of work left. You can get some stuff done.
Okay.
You can do this, man.
When is the end of the work? Like,
Period.
yeah.
9:52, I think. It's up there on the board. 9:54.
Well, I mean, like, when do I have to get this stuff working?
Oh, that's a Mr. Barlow question.
Well, he's in the room too.
Not sure what that meant, but see what I can do. He's been working pretty well straight through. Okay. I think you should be able to take about a 10-minute break.
Yeah, when he hasn't been, he's been distracted, you know, and it hasn't really been his fault. I mean, when
Okay.
people are talking.
So let's give him a 10-minute
he
break and he
missed
can
out.
finish up. Okay, that good?
What?
You can take a 10-minute break and then you can
No, I'm just gonna stop working at 9:30 or something like that.
Okay. Okay, that'll work.
Alrighty.
Okay, we've got to get this door open here. So we are completely. Okay, this is going to be a real short IEP because we're going to have to recess the meeting because Ryan's not here.
Is he gonna show up with his mom, maybe?
I don't know, it's possible.
Mercy.
Have you met Ryan's mom?
Yeah.
Have you met Ryan's mom?
I have not.
I have not either.
Have you met my mom?
I've seen your mom.
Yes. That you have. She's seen you too.
She's We've seen each other.
But
What did you say?
brought back the cup.
How did you break your arm?
Oh.
In Spanish. And I said, I forgot. I also forget. What?
Is that one of those things where you know perfectly well, but you're a teenager, so the effort of explanation is too much?
Yes. Oh my god. Like I said.
What is up with you guys?
Like when you get home, you're just so tired. You don't even want to talk. Like, you don't even want to explain anything. When your mom says, "How are you?" You're like, "Okay." How's your day? It's fine. Like.
I know. It's legendary. Okay? It's like the comic strip Zits and all the other ones. How was your day? Okay. Doesn't matter what happened.
Exactly. Like.
Doesn't matter what happened. Good, bad, indifferent, doesn't matter.
I could have seen like a kid have an asthma attack in like class, and I still would have been nothing interesting happened today. Unless it's like it's been like I took a nap or something, then I'll tell her like, okay, this happened.
Well, the only time my dad never, any parents, because I could tell them what's going on in school. I didn't care. I mean, they okay, but I mean, they cared, but I mean, they weren't getting anything out of me. And the only time they ever talked was, that I keep coming back to this, but the time when we watched the Watergate hearings in class, get home and start watching it. My dad would get home, then he'd ask me to tell him what's going on so far, and once it gets past the blankety blank Nixon, and telling us, Butterfield testified this morning, Dean was on the stand, or Haldeman showed what a jerk he is, or Ehrlichman with his damn Jap comment. That was really good. It ticked off Senator Inouye. Oh, it was full of that stuff.
Wow.
You got those guys' souls were bared at one point or another, and that the reaction to stuff, or Sam Rubin. I'm just a country lawyer. You're not. You're the nation's foremost constitutional scholar. Okay, but you want to play the folks who we'll let you do that.
You're back.
It took literally forever. Huh?
You're back. I was like, I need to start before.
Why did you call that orange?
I just assumed this could be orange, this could be red, this could be. Wait, where does yellow go? Does yellow go between orange and red?
It goes after orange.
Yeah.
I found some. It took forever, but okay. So what you need to do now is make your.
I gotta fill you on some stuff.
Yeah.
Now let's go.
Okay.
I've been trying to avoid it, but since we're now involved a little bit.
Holy cow.
Oh, we're not in that way.
Oh, okay.
So all the colors you
Why every time I get up do I groan? How
'Cause you're
much
old.
more
Because I
unattractive
gave up
can
the
I
kind of stuff
get?
you don't want to hear. That's why.
I do that too. I groaned.
We
didn't
counted
put my
how
phone in,
many
Ashley.
different colors of things. And so Ashley and I are gonna wait for you after school. Push it down. Yes. We'll be over in the corner of the schoolyard divvying them up, laughing.
You hear this?
No.
They're planning to push me down and take my colored pencils.
You have, it's
I have
amazing what
monsters.
you have. It's amazing. Really, it's a source of jealousy.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I have a colored pencil sharpener. Okay, you have to
Oh,
sharpen
I have
this.
one too.
I have it then.
Mine smells like chocolate, so.
Does it smell like chocolate? Because it's a chocolate. What the hell?
It is though. I do have one that smells like chocolate.
Well, then get yours out too. You need double the sharpening.
True. You better hurry though, because I need to like.
I know, but I said get your shit out, Ashley.
I will. I'm just
Stop.
helping you out with the.
You're not. Just get yours out. It'll be way faster if you just get yours out.
I feel like mine's the cheap kind though, but okay. I'll get mine.
Mine's from fucking Rite Aid.
Don't hate on Rite Aid.
I don't. I love Rite Aid.
I love drugstore